Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the previous video we watched together the video of Nano walking in the park and meeting a group of cute rabbits. After walking all day in the park, Nano then returned to his boarding house to stay the first night. What's the continuation of the story of his first night sleeping in his boarding house? Keep watching Nano's story in this video, don't skip, watch it until the end and enjoy watching guys. Finally I arrived at the boarding house, and I walked to enter the boarding house. Thankfully I was given a house key so I can open the door myself whenever I go home to the boarding house. Finally I arrived at my bedroom. I can lie down on this bed for a moment. It also feels fresh after a few minutes of lying on this mattress. It seems that this time I want to read a story article. Hopefully there will be an interesting story. I tried browsing the internet first for the article. Yes, I got it. In a village nestled in the heart of the mountains, lived an elderly woman named Grandma Margaret. The village was surrounded by lush forests, clear rivers, and vast green fields. Grandma Margaret was one of the original inhabitants of the village, and she had lived there her entire life. Grandma Margaret was a wise and experienced woman. She was born in the village and grew up amidst the beautiful nature. Her life in the village was simple, yet filled with happiness. Grandma Margaret grew up with loving parents who taught her many things about living harmoniously with nature. One of the things she dearly loved was gardening. Grandma Margaret had a fertile garden behind her house, where she grew various vegetables and fruits. Every morning, she would tend to her garden, digging the soil, caring for the plants, and harvesting the crops. She always felt a deep satisfaction seeing the fruits of her labor on her family's dining table. Grandma Margaret was also knowledgeable about medicinal plants. She knew exactly where to find herbal plants that could be used to cure various illnesses and ailments. The villagers often came to her when they were sick, and Grandma gladly provided them with the natural remedies they needed. However, Grandma Margaret's kindness extended beyond her knowledge of plants. She was also a good listener. Many villagers came to her seeking advice, whether it was about personal problems, family matters, or their work. Grandma always had wise words that made people feel more at ease. Furthermore, Grandma Margaret was a skilled craftsman. She spent a lot of her time creating various handicrafts, such as woven mats, hats, and bamboo crafts. Her handmade crafts were highly sought after by the villagers, and she often sold them at the local market to earn extra income. Grandma Margaret's life continued peacefully in the village until one day, a natural disaster struck. Prolonged heavy rains caused a massive flood that damaged the fields, houses, and gardens of the villagers. Many residents were forced to evacuate to higher ground. Grandma Margaret did not falter. With strong determination, she opened her doors to the displaced villagers. She provided shelter, food, and moral support to those in need. Grandma Margaret also led efforts to clean the damaged houses and took care of the sick villagers. As time passed, their village recovered, though it took time and hard work. Grandma Margaret continued to be a respected figure in the village. She became an example for the younger generation, teaching them about kindness, courage, and wisdom. Not long after the flood, the villagers collected funds to build an educational center in the village. They wanted to preserve the knowledge and traditional values that Grandma Margaret had taught them. The educational center was named Grandma Margaret School in honor of the wise woman. Grandma Margaret was a true testament to the value of rural life. She taught that happiness could be found in simple living, and that kindness and knowledge could be a beacon of light for anyone fortunate enough to encounter her. Grandma Margaret was a priceless treasure in the village, and her story would continue to be remembered by future generations. From the story above we can conclude that the story of Grandma Margaret illustrates the wisdom and kindness of an elderly woman in a rural village. Despite living a simple life, Grandma Margaret possessed deep knowledge about nature, medicinal plants, and craftsmanship. She was not only an expert in gardening, but also a good listener and a skilled artisan. When a disaster struck their village, Grandma Margaret not only provided physical assistance to her fellow villagers, but also offered much-needed emotional support. In conclusion, Grandma Margaret's story teaches us that a simple life in the countryside can enrich the soul and build strong communities. Kindness, knowledge, and wisdom were values highly upheld by Grandma Margaret, and she became an inspiration for future generations. This story reminds us of the power of solidarity and wisdom in facing life's challenges, and teaches us that meaningful life is not always about material possessions, but also about serving others and sustaining the environment around us. Wow, this is really a very interesting story. The story about the struggle of a grandmother named Grandma Margaret in helping her people. Very good. That's Nano's story, friends, in this video. I hope Nano's story this time can inspire all of you. See you in the next Nano video. Bye bye.